For anybody who needs a footnote for that joke, Krakosia is the fictional country that Tom Hanks' character was from in The Terminal, the movie where he has to live in the airport. You know it's the movie, or you know it's where Tom Hanks is from, because anytime Krakosia is on the screen, Tom Hanks goes, and I quote from the script by Steven Spielberg, "Krakosia! Ha! Krakosia!" He points to the monitor. Tom Hanks gestures to monitor to imply that this is the country from whence he has arrived. Krakosia! Over and over. It's just that for 2 hours, and for some reason Catherine Zeta-Jones falls in love with him. It's also a big ad for Burger King. He does eat some Burger King in that movie. That seems true to life, though. Like, it's an airport. What is he gonna eat at, you know? He's not getting into the Sky Miles Lounge, I'll tell you that much. It's from Krakosia. The country doesn't even exist. You know what? Fair play. Krakosia. Could have eaten at Panda Express. I feel like Panda Express didn't exist in 2004. Or it had like one location in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'll tell you, I've eaten at a Panda Express once in my whole life. Can I tell you something that might surprise you? I thought it was pretty delicious. Have you ever seen the BuzzFeed video of like first generation like Chinese American millennials eating Panda Express, and then their parents and grandparents from China eating it, and the differences in their opinion? It's one of my favorite videos. Because all the 20 and 30-year-olds like me eat the Panda Express and go like, this is disgusting. This is nothing like what the food is actually like in China. Like, if you go to China, it's a flavor explosion. It's not garbage like this. And the people who actually either grew up or still lived in China were like, this shit is delicious. Whoa, he's good. He's good. I've only eaten there once, though. I can't even remember what I had, either. But it was good. Or, you know, decent. There's no Panda Express in Vancouver? I don't believe so. I mean, I think we have, like, maybe only one Chinese chain restaurant, which is this place called Peaceful Restaurant. It's pretty good. There might be, like... in the malls, there might be a Manchu Wok or something like that. Like the Canadian... I don't even know if Manchu Wok is Canadian now that I think about it, but... we don't really have Chinese fast food chains in Vancouver, to the best of my knowledge. But dude, if you ever find yourself in the Pacific Center, which is the downtown Vancouver shopping mall, there's one Chinese food restaurant there, and the woman who works there, every time, I didn't even know this was legal, she is like hawking the food. Like, everybody else that works at the food court is just like, you know, hey, if you walk up to me, I'll ask you what you're ordering. She is like, when you walk by, she's like, you! Try a sample of this. And then, like, if you go no, she's like, it's really good and it's cheap. And you're like, oh, I'm just going to the bathroom. Kate will back me up on this. She's like, actually, that's a new one. She's actually selling, which I respect. Now, I've never eaten there because it actually does not look very good. But I respect her entrepreneurial spirit. Also, that's the end of my life. I ate $4 Chinese food from a Toronto mall food court in 2011, and I think it honestly ruined at least food court Chinese food for me forever. So in Canada, we have probably the most common, or one of the top 5 most common Canadian Chinese food entries is called chicken balls. And it's like a ball of chicken that's, I don't know, about this big, like the empty space there. And then it's surrounded in batter and deep fried. Kind of like a spherical chicken nugget. Usually has like some plum sauce or some sweet and sour sauce on it. It's not like popcorn chicken. It's almost more like donut batter, weirdly enough. But anyway, so I got the chicken balls at this place, and I remember literally I bit into one, and it didn't taste good, but I was also alarmed. I didn't expect it to be great considering it was $4, but I was alarmed, and then I deconstructed the chicken ball, and there was no chicken. It was just dough, and I was like, just kind of disgusted. Which nowadays, I would definitely just eat it and be like, sick, dude, it's all dough. It's like getting a Timbit. But at the time, I found it very disgusting. Exactly. It was a chicken ball that was all chicken, no ball. And I don't believe I have ever had mall Chinese food since then. And this guy's sending me. All ball, no chicken. That's it. That's what I meant. Sounds like me before the surgery. My go-to mall food court place is honestly KFC. I'm at the mall so infrequently, I eat KFC so infrequently, that getting KFC at the mall feels like a special treat. I'm in. No, 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 no! Big Crunch? I used to be a Big Crunch guy. Now I like the 2-piece fries and gravy, honestly. The KFC gravy is very good, in my opinion. Sparrow? I've never eaten at a Sparrow. I don't think we have Sparrow in Canada. Instead, we have a pizza chain in our malls called Via Taverne. We do have them in Canada? What? I've never seen one in BC. That doesn't mean they're not here. I've seen only a small slice of British Columbia. I've never seen them in Ontario either, though. But I don't know, man. Like, here's the thing. I've already found my main. I main KFC at the mall. I don't need another one because I'm already I'm spoken for. I go to the mall maybe 2 times a year. And sometimes we've even eaten before we got to the mall. So I don't really need to broaden my horizons. I'm happy with the frequency. I'm getting a little dizzy. This is like that Trackmania course. He's healing. Get away from there. Yeah. Come here. Dude. Backstab. Is Bojangles popular outside of Carolinas? The Carolinas, I guess I should say. I've never seen a Bojangles, but Canada is woefully uncultured when it comes to fried chicken chains. There's a few Popeyes, there's a few Churches, there's a lot of KFCs, and there's a lot of Mary Browns. That's all we got. I've never seen a Cane's in Canada, a Raisin Cane's. It's so frigged for fast food in BC that people worship Arby's. I don't know. I know what you're talking about. The Vancouver subreddit goes apeshit over Arby's. But I think it's half because we have low fast food options and half because it's kind of a meme that there's only ever one Arby's in the lower mainland at any given time. I've never been to Zabu on Robson Street, but I've walked by it many times. In fact, I'm not that hip with the Vancouver fried chicken either, you know? I've never been to Zabu, I've never been to Juke. I'm more of a... I mean, we're all in on the tonkatsu. Like, I've been to Saku. I've waited for an hour to eat at Saku. Multiple times. Saku my balls? I will not Saku your balls. I can Saku my own balls. Thank you very much. Isn't it weird that a city has a subreddit? No, it's a place where everybody that moved here in 2010 can all talk about how much better Vancouver was in the 1990s. It's a necessary public service. It's just people shitting on the housing market. Is a lot of that, and then a lot of people who go, "Don't worry, brother, the crash is happening any day now, dude." My friend works as a realtor, and he said this is the lowest housing prices in human history. My friend works as a realtor, and he says people are so pogged to buy, the market's never been hotter. I'm out of sync. I'm out of sync on this one. Boston subreddit is like that plus racism. Vancouver subreddit has got some of that as well, without a doubt. But the number two thing on the subreddit is not racism. It's usually like, hey, somebody stole my bike, and then that triggers like 150 comments where somebody's like, we should just get all the homeless and shoot them into the sun. And then somebody else is like, actually, we should make a homeless man into the prime minister. And then somebody else is like, actually, what we should do is... And it just is like, it goes on and on and on and on and on. And on and on. The scary part of the Vancouver subreddit, I'm sure this happens on other city subreddits, but there are like novelty accounts about the subreddit, like for people that only post on the Vancouver subreddit. Like people will have names like honks at Cyclists. It's like, man, come on. Hey, go ahead, come here. No, don't come there, come here. Yeah, baited! Right in the patella. I can't believe you got me with a thrusting attack. It's embarrassing. I got a chance. I don't got a chance. Are you team cyclist or team driver? I mean, I don't see it like that. By the way, I'm not mad at this boss. I like this boss right now. I'm having a good time with this boss. Maybe it's a coward's way out. I'm team coexist. I get annoyed with drivers. I get annoyed with cyclists. I'm equal opportunity anger. At least they're not rollerbladers. Pick a side? Well, that's not the real world. I'm more pro-cyclist than pro-driver. However, I'm more pro-driver than somebody that would consider themselves pro-cyclist. You know what I mean? Because I feel like as soon as you define yourself as being pro-cyclist, anti-driver, you become one of those people who's like, you know, they should just cut out all the roads and just have walking paths. And you're like, well, I gotta commute 40 minutes to my job at the hospital. And they're like, suck it up, bitch. This is a good start. I think we can coexist, cyclists and I mean, I've been a cyclist on the road, I've been a driver on the road. The driver shit that pisses me off is turning right without checking your rear view mirror, or your side mirror I should say, to see if a cyclist is coming into your right spot, because that's their lane. Sometimes you have to brake on a green if you're turning right to let the cyclist that's in the bike lane go ahead. And I feel like let's not say most, many drivers are not used to checking their mirrors when they turn right, and as a result, they end up clipping cyclists and killing them, and that sucks. However, the thing that cyclists do that annoy me as well is that when they're on the road, they alternate between being a car and between being a pedestrian based on the light. And as a result, as a driver, it makes them hard to predict. When they're on the road and they get treated as a car, no problem, I'll treat you as a car. But then as soon as we get the red light and you go onto the crosswalk and then you go up on the curb and then you cross over this way and then now all of a sudden you're a car again, I'm like, hey, come on, man. I have also, and again, I have to stress that I am very pro-cyclist, but oftentimes I have seen in Vancouver, and we got some uppity cyclists, I'll admit, but I've seen a situation where everybody can tell that there's going to be like a little bit of an incident if nobody's paying attention. And if the cyclists just hit the brakes in advance, they would have noticed, like they would have prevented the whole situation from coming to pass. But instead, they just keep pedaling, and then the person turns right to like go into the McDonald's drive-thru or something like that. And then they like drive up beside them and start like beating on their car door and going like, hey, what are you doing, dummy? I was in your blind spot. And I'm like, yeah, but like you saw them turning and you went into their blind spot. I mean, you do have the right of way, but you could have just avoided it so easily. You know how many times, like, per trip in Vancouver, I yield the right of way to some idiot? Just so I don't get into a conflict with them over something meaningless? Sometimes I'm at a green light waiting for pedestrians to move so I can turn right, and then the person coming the other way just turns left and takes my right of way. And I'm like, all right, Grandma, I didn't realize that in Canada we let the left turners go before the right turners, but you know, I wasn't around when they wrote the rules, unlike you, so maybe I'm mistaken. But you don't, you know, drive up beside them and go, hey, you know, 14 intersections ago, did you know that you cut me off? You just hit the brakes a second early so that, you know, you can all safely go about your day without getting all, you know, your ego wrapped up in it. Sorry, we got 28 minutes to get